The Inspired by Invideo show.
50 episodes, that's incredible.
Special guest Abhilash Hande and Sanket.
It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time.
Join us, watch, learn, and have fun.
Hey, John.
Retake. Good afternoon, and welcome to Inspired by Invideo with myself and John, as usual, but a very special guest, Abhilash. Hello.
Hi, guys. It's so much fun to basically be on the 50th episode. Can't believe this is already happening, but yeah, super excited.
Brilliant. Okay. Hello, John. Oh.
Well, I think we were last on at 11 o'clock today time, and it's 4 now, so 5 hours.
5 hours, yeah. Okay. And if Chris is watching, it's 5 o'clock in Belgium. Right. Okay. Now we're here because a year ago, just over a year ago, John and I discovered Invideo and loved it so much that we started the show. And we still love Invideo, and we're still going.
And we've been eternally grateful ever since.
Thank you. Well, we're and say hello to Chris. We just mentioned her, and Chris is saying hello, Steven, Jon, and Abhilash. Brilliant. Thank you for joining us, Chris. To everybody who's watching, we are live on Be.Live. If you make a comment, we can feature that comment on the screen. If you've got a question for any of us, do put your question in the comments, and we are here to answer them. The format today is that we're going to chat for about 15-20 minutes, and then, as usual, play John's video, and then we're going to have a second very special guest who will join us towards the end of the show. We're actually going for an hour today. John, are you okay?
Yeah, I just think my son's sending something to the printer, which is just above me. I'm praying to God it's only half a page or something.
Right. This is why you need Crisp, because Crisp cuts out any background noises at all.
It's quite quiet anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Right. Okay, John, do you like to ask your first question?
Oh, my first question is, what did you do before you joined Invideo for a living? I mean,
that's an interesting question. So very few people know about this. That's not something that I've ever been asked on the community. But thank you so much for bringing that up. So I used to work with Sanket and the team here at Invideo before that on in another company. We had another product that we were working together for. And I briefly went and worked for this agency, advertising agency that I wanted to go and work for. That's where I learned a lot of the tricks and tips on, copywriting, on things like how do you basically script videos, things like that, right? So I've always loved video content. I've pretty much spent a majority of my professional life in and around it, consciously or unconsciously. So when when we basically parted ways with our previous company because it got acquired and things like that, I went and I purposely joined an advertising agency because I wanted to go to the deeper end of the pool and see how people function there, right? It's extremely rapid prototyping of sorts, if I may say so. And it was a very steep learning curve. I had an extremely difficult time catching up with everything that they were doing. And in hindsight, that is probably one of the best opportunities for me to learn, because a lot of the things that we derive here at Invideo, from right from the way that the templates are made, initially I used to contribute a lot in terms of a lot of the things that went out in terms of communication, right? The reason why I can wear multiple hats and can kind of juggle between things is because I've done that out and out every single day for a year there. And it's taken me quite a bit of time to master, that part of the equation, right? So yeah, that's essentially what I was up to. I was working with an advertising agency before I hopped onto Invideo because it seemed like a brilliant idea to just work with, and I knew Sanket and the team really well, so we knew that we'll have our fair share of fun. So now it's almost been 3 years, and it seems like I almost have no memory of my life before Invideo. So yeah, that's where it got into.
We don't know what we did before we had Invideo to create our video.
Yeah, we've been using
I mean,
video. I guess we've been using Invideo for, well, me a little longer than Stephen, for about 18 months. April of last year, I started using Invideo, and then I said to Stephen, "This is pretty cool product you should be playing with."
Yes. If John recommends something, then that's it. Now, whereabouts is Invideo based, and how many people are involved?
So we've got our main office where we work out of now. We don't have an office anymore because we've completely gone remote. But a majority of our workforce is based out of Mumbai, India, right? And we've got a few people here and there in Singapore. We've got a few people in the US. Now we are expanding to other regions. We just hired someone in Russia. So yeah, now the team is growing, but initially, like a major chunk of our workforce was based out of Mumbai, India. Currently, we're sitting at about 110, 115 people. I don't know the exact count because we are rapidly recruiting. We've been recruiting throughout these 6 months. So yeah, I don't know the exact count, but it's definitely more than 100 people in the house.
I guess it's my turn for a question now.
Yes, it is.
You will notice the greyness or the missing of the hair in my mate Stephen's case. We've been friends a long time. I can be rude to him, and he's equally rude back to me. You're a very young man compared to us. Tell us a bit about yourself as a person, not about Invideo or there. What are you about?
Well, what I am about is a slightly difficult question because that's something that I don't spend any time thinking about. Because I spend potentially about anywhere from 12 to 14 hours doing things for Invideo, right? So it's a very important, large component of my life. But outside of Invideo, I love reading, so I read a lot. As like my love for video kind of takes over in other aspects of my life as well. So I consume a lot of content, a lot of ads, a lot of creators that I follow. So, but yeah, largely even when I'm not potentially working for Invideo, the rest of the time is spent in either learning something that will professionally help me, or like for example, the last weekend I spent the last weekend looking at ideas for backgrounds, right? For our live videos, because I've been doing live videos now quite frequently, and I wanted to kind of amp up our background. So yeah, I mean that's how I largely spend my time. But otherwise, I'm 28, and yeah, I mean I do the same old things that I guess you and Steven would do, which is catch up with friends, probably go out sightseeing on the weekend and things like that. So pretty normal in that sense.
28. I can't remember that far back. I'm 64, coming up 65. I've got a daughter of 28, but she's got two older brothers, one of 31 and one of 33.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, I can't remember 3 years. I can't remember my life from 3 years ago. So let alone that far long in the past. So I get exactly what you mean.
Tell me about it. I've got software that helps me remember things. And that's where it comes in. One of the things that is fascinating is how in the last 12 months things have evolved. Is that as people have joined you and come up with ideas, or is it consumer led? Do you respond, do you have a roadmap, or do you respond to consumer requests?
So it's a mix and match of both, right? So we recently published an article on Medium where we spoke about how our entire customer service segment, right, dials back into the product decisions that we take, right? So it's not as straightforward as just looking at what our users are saying or the feedback that we get. There is obviously a product roadmap because we know the gaps that we have to fill into the market, right? There are things that people need, but they might not necessarily know they need it at this point in time, right? So we have to also build for those things. But a lot of the smaller features that get pushed out, right? So, for example, people want one kind of text animations, or people want one kind of templates, right? Or people want the ability to group elements together. Those are smaller elements in terms of the amount of development time and development cycle that goes into it. Those are largely picked up from our user feedback. So that gets picked up from the chatter that we hear on the community, the chatter that we hear on our support module and things like that. But the larger decisions, like in terms of should we build a timeline, should we not build a timeline, right? Should we have, I don't know, should we work more on our machine learning capabilities? Should we not work more on our machine learning capabilities? Those are things that require a lot more amount of time. Should we build an app? Should we not build an app? They are extremely intensive in terms of the commitment of time, the commitment of effort, the commitment of resources, right? And that's why that can potentially make or break Invideo. So if we if we put a foot wrong there, it means we might not potentially raise the next round of money. And that means Invideo might not last forever, right? And we obviously want to last forever for us to make sure that we kind of give back to the community and we kind of make sure that people get their money's worth, right? So yeah, those are decisions that are slightly more complex, which is why a lot of times people come back to the community and say that, hey, we've been asking this for a very long time. We are cognizant of it, right? We want to build everything together, but at the same time, we can't, unfortunately. That's just the nature of the business. And yeah, we are doing whatever it takes to survive, and then we make sure that we can go above and beyond in terms of catering to what people want.
Thank you. And just to take a comment before John gets to his next question, you can take a breather for a moment, Abhilash. And this is from a user who's saying, "Hi guys, I bought a license last month," and that's the thing. I want to come back and just to after John's question, come back to your growth in the last 12 months, because
it might just happen to be that is my next question.
It could well be. 6 cents.
My next question is, you've
Over
grown
to
the
you.
business dramatically over the 18 months since Steven and I started using the product. What's your secret sauce? What's the magic potion that's made this happen?
That's made what happened? My journey with Invideo, or
when we knew you, there was a handful. First knew you was only a handful of people in the Facebook group. And hardly anybody had ever heard of Invideo. Now people say, you know all about Invideo. Oh, I've bought Invideo, or I want to use Invideo. Can't quite make it do this. And I go, that's easy stuff. But you've gone from, I don't know, 800, was it 18 months ago, to, what is it, 100,000 or whatever it is? I know it's a big number now.
It's about 800,000 users now.
So what do you think has caused that growth?
So the growth, honestly, has been largely driven by the kind of company that we wanted to build, right? And I think that's largely driven by how Sanket is. That's largely driven by how the core team is. We are not in this for the shorter run. We want to, we are super invested in terms of actually building a product that democratizes video creation or sort. That's the vision that we started the company with, right? Make video creation accessible and possible for anyone and everyone. So we are still super committed to that. So most of our decisions actually come from that base, right, or that primary crux, and that's what has helped make us that is what has helped us make some decisions that others would never potentially make, right? So, for example, building a community was something that we thought of very early on in our journey, wherein a lot of people thought about it a lot later after they built a product for about 4 or 5 years, right? Or even how we spend time, like Sanket spends an enormous amount of time replying to people. He's super accessible on the community. I am. I have, that's one of the first things that I look at when I wake up in the morning. That's one of the last things that I look at when I go to bed in the night. And there are a bunch of other people who do that, right? So how we've interacted with, so we'll never take down a post because it says something bad about us. We'd spend hours, just talking to people and kind of making them understand our viewpoint, right? And we have faltered at times. We've gone wrong and things like that. But even with our 24/7 support line, it's unheard of in this industry, right? For a $10 product, people would not necessarily do that. So those are the kind of things that we wanted to be known for. And I think that's eventually paid off. So people know that this is a company that is not running away with their money. They know that we are super receptive. They know that we are going to kind of handhold them through this process of kind of making that shift to video creation, right? And a lot of people joined us as amateurs who had never created videos, and now they are super pros, right? And they basically use Invideo left, right, center. So that's almost the kind of journey that a lot of other successful products have seen, right? So Canva, for example, is one of them. It's kind of seen the same kind of trajectory, wherein once you start using them, you can't not use it, right? There are so Spotify is another product like that. Netflix is another product. So we wanted to kind of get to that space. So obviously there's still a very, very long road ahead of us in terms of the product, but we are making up for that by at least taking care of all the human-centric elements around it.
Yeah, I mean, I got criticisms of the product as well, but we'll share them another time. I think it's your turn, Steven.
And comment from Chris, and Chris is saying the magic that makes me inscribed for a license was inspiring by Invideo. Thank you, Chris. We've been fortunate enough to have thousands of people watch the broadcasts in the last 12 months, and we've made a lot of friends through being inspired by Invideo. And next comment is coming in: customer service is excellent. I'll leave that on the screen for a second, Abhilash, and then we can do a screenshot of that. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now we are doing the interview with Abhilash. Now it's time for Jon's video. We'll be back at the end of the video. Well, I'll let Jon explain, because Jon, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, at the very beginning, and if you've been in the group over the last 2 days, you'll have seen a video I created advertising this broadcast. And the video shows you how I made that, but it's not all that much of it is about Invideo. It's about how I started, created my concept, how I got all the components I needed, and then how I powered up Invideo and created the actual video itself. Grab your coffee, grab your Coke or whatever it is, your poison, because it's 29 minutes long.
It's worth every single minute, Jon. It's worth every single minute. Okay, so I'm bringing the video up on screen. I'm going to make it full screen, so we can all watch the video together, and we have a surprise guest when we come back. I'm going to turn Abhilash's microphone off, Jon's microphone off, my microphone off, and then press play. Enjoy the video, and this is a part of every single broadcast we've done. Jon's instructional video.
In Invideo for today's show. What I'm going to do now is talk about how I created that advert and the different techniques used in Invideo. So sit back, grab your coffee and enjoy.
The Inspired by Invideo show.
50 episodes, that's incredible.
Special guest Abhilash Hande and Sanket.
It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time.
Join us, watch, learn, and have fun.
I started this project, the Inspired by Invideo advert, by creating a mind map where I put all my different ideas about what I wanted to have in the advert itself. So I've got my opening scene, the Inspired by Invideo show. I wanted an intro sound effect, I needed to put the date on, and I wanted to incorporate the Invideo fish. For my second scene, I wanted to celebrate the fact it was our 50th episode. So we've got a voiceover that says 50 episodes. That's incredible. And then we talk about our special guests, Abhilash Hande and Sanket. The next thing was I need to get over the different times that occur around the world when the program starts. So I have show times, And so it's Thursday afternoon at 4 in the UK, and then I'm going to show London as the location in the UK with a map pin and the word London and a picture of London. And then I'm going to do the same 11 in the morning Eastern time, and this time I'm going to have a New York map pin and picture, and 8 in the morning Pacific time, and again Los Angeles and a map pin and a picture. So that's my third scene, and my fourth and final scene tells people that they should join us, watch, learn and have fun. It's then going to have a picture of Steven with his name, me with my picture of me too with my name, and then my little favourite message, because I am an old fart: be there or be square. Be there or be square. Outro sound effect. And that's my mind map that I then used to move forward with the project. Having completed my mind map, I decided from there what I wanted to have as voiceovers. So from the mind map I extracted the Inspired by Invideo show, 50 episodes, that's incredible, special guests Abhilash Hande and Sanket. It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern time and 8 in the morning Pacific time. And finally, join us, watch, learn and have fun. So I took those and I used a package called Synthesis to create my different voiceovers. And you'll see as we move through here that I tried different voices before he ended up with what I want, who I want, saying what I want. I tried to give it a bit of an international flavour, so there's people from the UK, Americans, Italians and that other nations speaking. So I simply pasted my text into here, and then I hit the create button. And so if we listen here, this is our first
The
sentence.
Inspired by Invideo show.
I used Alicia for that, and then I used Dan R for the 50 episodes. That's incredible.
50 episodes, that's incredible.
And after that I tried to sprinkle a little bit of foreign interference. No, interference is not the right word. Foreign elegance into it. So I used Rosalia to talk about our special guests.
Special guest Abhilash Hande and Sanket.
Not sure the pronunciation's that good, but you can at least see I'm trying to spread it around a bit. And then I needed a little laid back feel for my talk about times. And there's this great guy here called John M, deep, mellow and resonant. And as you'll discover, he really is deep.
It's
mellow.
Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern time, and 8 in the morning Pacific time.
Right, as requested, we're stopping the video and we'll return to the video shortly. But I'm going to disappear, and when we come back, we'll have a very special guest in the studio.
John, you'll have, yeah. I was just going to tell you that you'll have to unmute him.
Is he muted? He's not muted, I don't think.
Hey, Sanket. Can you hear us?
Steven.
Hey, Abhilash. Hey, John. Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay, we stopped my video partway through, which is why Steven can't come back, because he'll lose the place in the video. So what we'll do is in a few minutes, I'll swap out with Steven and then you can talk to them. So it's really great to see you on here. I didn't realize you were such a youngster.
I'm not that young. I'm 30, so it's not too bad, but yeah.
I was telling Abhilash that I've got a daughter the same age as him, and she's got two older brothers who are 31 and 33. Anyway, it is really great to see you here. Can we ask you some questions?
Of course.
Okay. So first of all, we got Abhilash to. I'm never sure whether I pronounce your name properly or not.
Yeah,
Abhilash to
yeah.
tell us a bit about himself. So, not himself as a business person or that, but himself as an individual. And we discovered that he likes reading. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Sanket.
Sure. So, unfortunately or fortunately, I have very little to do outside of Invideo. I don't really think that I have too many hobbies.
That is exactly what Abhilash said.
I told him the exact same thing. I told him that it's about 12 to 14 hours at Invideo. The rest of the time, usually on the weekend, etc., is also catching up on what we can do better here. So it's usually reading up a blog or something like that. But yeah,
it's reading. I think I do spend time reading a decent amount of stuff. But to be very honest, like in plain blunt terms, we don't have a life.
I can remember those days. It was a long time ago. I've gone out very focused all of a sudden. I don't know why. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know the right way. We don't know the right way, but again, we have very little intellect to do anything outside. So that might be our con, but we're enjoying it, I think, most of us.
I know that you have lots of intellect, so don't run yourself down. Okay, so tell us a bit about what you did before you started Invideo.
I'm glad you asked, John. So Invideo, to a large extent, is an extension of what I did in 2012. I was still a student at University of Michigan, and I started creating 10-minute video summaries of non-fiction books. So I would convert an Art of War or a Think and Grow Rich into a 10-minute video summary. And then I posted it out on YouTube, sold it on iTunes, and those books got millions of views. Somewhere down the line, I said that, hey, the video production process was very difficult. It was very, very hard. And that is why we started Invideo again in 2017. Of course, it was a different concept. It was a different name. But I think that it was mainly because of that idea why I started Invideo. Between that, we started another company, Harsh and I, who are the founders here. We started another company which got acquired within 2 years. We had a year-long lock-in. Abhilash was there too. That is where I met Abhilash. And then a year post the lock-in, we actually started Invideo.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Abhilash. You've grown the business in the dramatically in the 18 months since Steven and I first started using the product, which is back in April of last year. I found it. I then encouraged Steven to play with it, and then we couldn't stop talking about it. And now 50 weeks on, well, it's a bit more than 50 weeks because we've had a couple of weeks off. We didn't have a broadcast last week because the ceiling fell down in my kitchen because of a leak in the bathroom. But we've done over 50 weeks of these. We've talked to lots of people. We answer lots of questions. But what's the secret sauce that you've used to grow the business so much from where it was 18 months ago when maybe there was about 800 users to a huge number of users, maybe 100,000 or whatever it is today?
800,000.
800,000. See, I told you my maths was no good.
Look, okay, so I'm going to take a step back and actually be extremely honest. Look, the product can be good for a lot of people, but we understand the gaps of the product. I think there are a lot of gaps in the product. We believe that what we have done is a phenomenal job, but there is a lot to be still done constantly. So the difference is, I think that we are very, very focused. Every time a customer complains, it hurts us. If I can I share the screen here?
Unfortunately, I don't think so because of we've held the video. So,
sure. So I will give you I will give you an idea, right? We did 24/7 support. Now, when we do 24/7 support, we reply within a minute. Every query is tagged. Every query is tagged, and there's a presentation that's created week over week over week, where we identify the core issues of minutest details. For example, I'll go as deep as text and what are queries related to text. So if I actually have to say that what are the highest number of queries we receive with respect to images, then it is fit type is 7%, crop is 7%, other is 7%, remove background is 14%, and animation is 64%. 1.8% are the total number of queries that come to us are related to images under the product help session. So we know it, right? And now it is a bunch of execution that we have to do to solve it, basically. So all we do is typically is we are extremely focused, hardworking people who are going and understanding what the customers need. And I'm saying that are there gaps? There are a ton of gaps, and we are just focused and trying to solve that gap after gap after gap. We also fundamentally believe on a very macro term where the team is very aligned. We believe that the future of video creation is on the browser. It is across devices. It is collaborative and easy. It is a difficult tech problem to solve. I believe that we are still 2 years away to solve it properly. So we have to keep building it for next 2 years to keep solving it properly. So there is actually no other secret than understanding where are our customers, who are they, what do they want. We have a fair amount of understanding about that. We have very, very fair understanding about what are the gaps in the system. Like we just know percentage wise. We did go haywire with respect to technology implementation for certain reasons in between for a period of 3 or 4 months. But I think we are back. We are feeling very strong. And we know that we have to build a very, very good product to be successful in this market. So typically it's just that. And then there is a lot of education. We believe that our team actually goes out and reads a lot, takes courses a lot to understand how to look at certain things. And all of that actually encourages us to like work together. That's it. Nothing else. We understand where our users come from, and we then piggyback on that channel. SEO is one of the largest channels for us, and we make sure that we create as much expertise as we can on SEO.
I will have to tell you that my favorite phrase to all these demanding people on the Facebook group is, what do you want for $10 a month? You know, because they seem to have expectations that are beyond reality, you know.
I think that people always do. I mean, you give them a piece of software and they say, brilliant, I like it, I love it, but can you just do this? And that's the problem we have, isn't it, with software?
I will actually take 5 steps back. Why did we start supporting people 24/7? We started doing it because the platform was buggy. So the platform was buggy, so we started supporting 24/7 so we don't have angry customers, angry users. Look, I'm not going to blame any of them. I think that at some point there are not good fits. We have a roadmap where we know that what we have to do and what we have to improve. It doesn't really, we don't get frustrated because that's the only way to grow. And again, we want to build look, Abhilash is in late 20s. I'm in my early 30s now. So is most of the rest of the team. We all watch cricket, and I use an analogy all the time. I just say that in this period, let's do batting of 6s and 4s, like just keep hitting 6s and 4s. Otherwise, there's no point. And I'm not going to blame our customers at all. And John, by the way, I'm grateful that you come out and support us. I really appreciate it. But it's okay if you don't do it. It's okay if no one does it. Primarily because it's almost our job to make sure that it works. And something doesn't work at times. And irrespective of they are paying us, they are not paying us, we don't want to lose respect. Like it's okay. I mean, and I truly appreciate you having our back all the time. Like, thank you so much for that. And by the way, our investors ping us and say that, who answered that? Was that John or was that Steven? Like, you're famous in our all leadership meetings, in our board meetings. It has never been a time when we had a board meeting or we had an investor meeting and John was not up there on the deck or Steven was not up there on the deck. You guys have always been on the deck. I mean, we don't tell it, but you have always been there on the deck. I can send you some screenshots litter from our previous decks.
In fact, you guys are the reasons why I get to sleep, because otherwise I'll have to constantly keep replying to comments. It's primarily the reason why I can basically go to bed, because I know that okay, someone will pick it up. And you guys are not officially like a part of our, part of our team. It's not like we have any form of, agreement whatsoever, and you just still have basically
It's
gone
love.
out of your.
I think all it is love, and I don't know why you love us, but I'm grateful that you do. I actually almost sometimes thank God that thank you they love us.
Well, I think the thing is,
I've
Sorry,
definitely built a relationship with, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Hamanji on support?
Himanshu.
Yeah. I have
Himanshu.
to admit, though, I only discovered yesterday that she was a lady. And I've been using comments like bloke in the in my exchanges with her.
right, let's just take a few comments. And at Invideo, we strive for excellence. That's Kate. And can someone take out shares in the company?
Sanket will be best positioned to answer that.
And welcome to Invideo family, Nazim. That's obviously Nazim commenting. Hello! And we're joined by
Hey, Molly.
Just need to take off Sanket's name for a second because everybody knows who you are. There we are. Comment from Molly. Hello, Molly. Nice to see you. And Molly again. Oh, I'm going to blush
is
now.
The best. Favoritism. It's not allowed, Molly.
So,
Right.
Molly,
Thank you, Molly. So kind.
She's a believer and an Invideo user. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Molly says this is her favourite stream ever. Stephen and I have had lots of practice. Today is our 300 and what? 248 and 50.
298 shows on
our 298th show that we have been doing together, and Stephen does about 5 times the number I do a week.
Crazy. How did you folks meet? What was the first time? How did you folks get to know each other before anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Stephen used to live about 12 miles down the road. We met on a networking group called Academy, which was an online network group. And we're going back probably 15 years-ish, Stephen, something like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
And we used to talk to each other on the internet. And then we finally discovered that it was only 10 minutes, 15 minutes drive away. So we started going to the pub together at a lunchtime for a Guinness or cider in my case. And then he moved. Then a nice lady called Angelica, who was also an Academy member, captured his heart, and now he lives in Wiltshire with Angelica. And I don't get to go to the pub with him anymore.
So we meet virtually every Thursday at 10 o'clock in the UK and have been doing for almost 5 years. And we just love live video. I mean, you love recorded video and creating video. We create video by going live, because the bit that we love is the fact that it's not perfect and things go wrong. And that's one of the exciting things about it. And the other thing is that whilst you've been building Invideo, and Invideo's got still very easy to use, but it's now got so much more power than it had 18 months ago. The same is true of live video. It's come on leaps and bounds. We could not have, just think about it, 4 years ago, we could not have sat together and done this. And we've come from low resolution video, 4 people on screen. Today we're going out in 1080p, and you can't get any better than that, because I don't have a 4K camera. I'm sure that John doesn't either. But this is very high quality. And just to shout out, because Molly's here, today is in fact Be.Live's 4th birthday.
Yeah.
And the party starts when we finish. There you are.
Very cool. Congratulations to them.
We're looking forward to the 2-year Invideo party.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Sure. Online, because we're all over the world. I mean, in here today, we've got Italy, Canada, several different places in the US, yourselves. Whereabouts are you?
Abhilash, let's do it. Abhilash, what do you think? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. It's a great idea. Let's do a party.
100%.
Invideo birthday party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll just have to find out. I mean, when I think it should be somewhere around March or April, if I'm not wrong. So we should get to about 2 years then, and we'll definitely have a party.
And what you have to do is has to run for sufficient time for everybody around the world to join in.
Yeah.
Done. Deal.
Done.
So it starts in Australia, comes up through Singapore, travels across Europe, jumps through to Ireland, over the water, and starts again in New York, and goes across the States and ends up in Honolulu and back to Australia.
We'll basically take your help, John and Steven, so that you can.
We're always here to help. You know that. We're a bit older than you, though, Sanket. Quite a bit older.
It's just the old cliche. It's just a number.
Well, we know that ourselves because we don't let it get in our way. I assure you. And Stephen's older than me. Oh, I didn't say that, did I?
No, you did, John. It's now on record. I never forget that you gave the game away. Now, age is not the thing. What the thing is actually enjoying what you do. And I think the four of us are totally in love with what we do. Would you agree?
Yeah.
100%.
Sometimes I don't love what Abhilash does, but he loves what he does. So I don't know what to do about that.
We call him Mr. Customer Happiness. I don't know whether that's his role, but that's what he portrays is customer happiness.
Yeah, it's largely how I'd also define it, because at a micro level it keeps switching, every once in a while, but largely that's where it's been.
Well,
so, have we got some more questions?
Have you any questions that you'd like to ask people who are watching?
Not really. We'd be very keen to know, how did they get to know about Invideo, and what do they love the most about us, right? It'd be very, very interesting to see that. So I know that a lot of them talk about customer support, but it'd be very interesting to see what else do they love.
I actually want to know what is number 1, number 2, and number 3 things they would want to see on Invideo. What is the number 1, number 2, number 3?
That they're not allowed to ask those type of questions because they can ask them all day long in the group. Yeah.
Sure, fair. I will back off.
I tell you what I will do though. Yeah. If I get a top 10 together, I can create a poll in the group and people can vote for what they want in the group. Would that be of use?
Can make it happen.
Yeah.
Abhilash can make it happen.
Yeah,
well,
that'd be super.
I can make it happen, and it's independent, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I love about
so please go ahead.
Okay, let me just check my list here. Where do you see yourselves as a company and the product being in 12 months and in 5 years' time?
So again, Sanket might probably be like the best person to answer that. Sanket, what he's trying to know is where do we see ourselves in like 12 months and where do we see ourselves in 5 years?
Got it. So 5 years out, if you're not competing, rather not winning against Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects, compositing as well as editing, it would be a failure without not serving our current customers. That quality of video with an Invideo-like easy-to-use interface, yet powerful, right? I think it will be a failure. I think we will not be respecting the opportunity we have in front of us in 5 years. In 1 year, I think there are a lot of tactical gaps on the platform. For example, we don't have scrubbing, or we don't have folders, or we don't have brand presets, or we don't have the right animations. So a bunch of those things will come out. How we are doing that is actually, and by the way, why we got deviated was also because our rendering engine today is in HTML5. We are moving it to WebGL. So basically a large part of our team is today working on WebGL and building that rendering engine out. And sometimes you can fail while doing it. And sometimes it's difficult to do that. but just plugging that rendering engine will make Invideo more powerful with respect to, hey, no limitations for 15 minutes. Hey, you can scroll the video or you can scrub it, or hey, you will have a timeline that can be used the way you want it to be, etc., etc. Or we can handle large video files and things like that, right? So that is the core. So a lot of issues that gets pointed to us are because of our underlying rendering technology that we use, and we are moving away to a new technology, and that will be 12 years out, which is actually a lot of technical debt, as we call it, that we are going to try and solve ASAP. And along with that, we will have mobile as well. So and there will be and you folks might think that, hey, we might want to stay focused, etc., etc. But in a couple of weeks we might have large news to share, which will allow us to build our team out, to further invest a lot more on the product than what we are. Like between us here on this call, let's just say that we will be able to invest 5 times what on the product than what we used to in the next couple of years. So there will be a lot of people helping us out, a lot of product managers and engineers working on solving those core issues in the coming months.
Brilliant.
Is there anything you'd like to ask us to, the old farts, as I will call us, in the room?
Yourself, John.
Anything you two would like to ask us?
No, I think.
Where do you get so much energy? Where do you folks get so much energy?
Well, I'll take that first one, John, as I think as well. I walk and get exercise, and I've done marathons, but not running marathons, walking marathons. I live very close to Stonehenge, and there's a trail which goes from Stonehenge to Avebury, which is 26 miles, 385 yards, and is one of the most beautiful places that you could find to go for a marathon walk. And that's how I do it. I'm local to a canal, which is about half a mile away. I can go training on the canal and out in the beautiful Wiltshire countryside. So walking, and then we're very lucky in the UK that we have 2 agencies, the National Trust and English Heritage, which look after properties, and that's properties from country houses through to castles, through to cathedrals, and we can go on the weekend. No computers, no mobiles, no nothing. Just go and visit somewhere, step back in history, and just enjoy ourselves.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
And me, I dig. Okay, I've got 2 what we call allotments. I don't know if you have allotments in India, but basically it's where you rent a piece of land and you grow your vegetables, your fruit, whatever.
Oh, wow. You do that?
Yeah.
So cool.
And I have a big garden as well.
We are in Bombay. We are in Bombay, and it's of course one of the most proudest cities in the world. And we occasionally have people who move in from Bangalore or Delhi in Bombay, and they're like, "Hey, find me a house with balcony," and we'd be like, "Hey, you want a balcony? What are you, a millionaire?" Like,
I live in a very expensive area in the UK,
very cool.
but I haven't got a massive house.
Okay.
Any questions in our thing? Oh, Mary Smith is blamed for people knowing about there.
Right,
oh,
okay.
You just walked across behind you.
She was my wife. She came in to use the washroom. See, I told you, it's a small house.
Right. And
Well,
we've got,
if I lean back, you can see there, and my monitor is about an arm's length in front of me, and there's another wall behind that. So I'm in an extremely tiny space. But there are 2 empty bedrooms, but my wife won't let me move into one of those as an office. But we've been married, we've been together 40 years and married 39 years soon. So
Oh, wow. Crazy.
I'm used to being told what I can and can't do.
Sanket is just getting used to the idea.
Magnus is here from Germany. So we've had Italy, Germany, where's Belgium, 2 or 3 different places there. There is one Australian in the room. I can't understand what he's doing in the room at this time of the day, but there is. Oh, and Marco Novo's here. He's in Portugal. So you're getting a good worldwide looking at this, and hopefully we'll get our usual level of views afterwards, because normally live we don't get a huge viewing, maybe 60 or 70, but we'll get another 400 to 600 watching the replays.
Yep.
And two ace guests. Maybe we'll get 4,000 to 6,000 views. Who knows?
With a live video, this is the beginning of the journey. Just as a video.
It's just been pointed out that I missed Tokyo out.
Okay, right. Message in from Chris, and she's saying, and this is the point about people who use Invideo. I'm not a tech person. I don't have much time, and I don't have a budget. But I'm a teacher, and I need to make resources. And Invideo makes excellent templates which you can use
with my photos.
Thank you, John. Okay. And
thanks to Chris. A big thanks to
Canada,
Chris. Thank you so much.
Tokyo. And yeah, I mean, the thing is that around Invideo, around live video as well, is a community of people who support each other. Yeah, and we're all cheering each other on. We're not fighting battles all the time. I mean, you mentioned earlier sort of playing cricket and hitting the 4s and 6s and playing T20, but we're all playing for the same team.
Yep, couldn't agree more.
Yep, we are all playing. Yep, absolutely.
When
John,
Stephen talks about cricket on our morning broadcast, the other 3 of us go.
No, that's not this. It's the balance is about right here. You've got 3 people who like cricket against one. Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky to actually be able to watch the T20 series in the UK, and it's great cricket, absolutely great cricket. Okay, going to the comments. I think we'll dry on comments. If you've got any questions, then the last few minutes to actually ask your questions.
John, I actually wanted you to complete the video tutorial that you had made, because I think a lot of people would want to watch that and kind of learn from that. And I know it's about 20-25 minutes long. So I think it'd be a good idea to actually play that and kind of let that play out till the end of the webinar.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We any other things? I've run out of questions to ask you. I did ask the group to suggest questions and got not one.
We'll get lots of questions afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure from my part. It's been a pleasure to actually meet you both, and thank you for spending time with us, and thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much. No, we are actually grateful to have you as our supporters. Thank you so much. We are blessed. We are grateful. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
John, it's over to you.
Abhilash, I've known for a while. Talks to me about, will you tell them I'm doing this broadcast, so they all come and watch. We do try, don't we? It doesn't always work.
Do. We're very trying.
But it's really nice because we have exchanged messages and various other things, Sanket, but I've never seen your face really other than your photo on Facebook. So it's good to know who you are. You make me feel old because you're just a real youngster, but it don't make me feel any worse because you are a youngster. So great to see you. Oh, I got torn to bits once over Steve Dotto because people said, Steve Dotto, great, fantastic. I'd never heard of him. He's not particularly well known this side of the water. So that's the one faux pas I seem to have committed, is to say, who's Steve Dotto? But apart from that, all my stuff has been positive to date.
That's true.
So I thank you for joining us, and look forward
to
seeing you again. And I look forward to that party.
For sure. See you soon.
Absolutely.
See you soon. Thanks, John. Thanks, team. Thank you.
See you both later.
Thanks.
We're going to play the video now, so I'm going to hide our guests and back to me and John. And we've got a long session now, John. We're going to actually bring the video up. Now, I've got the video, and it's
Are we
coming.
going to start it again from scratch? Because a lot of people joined us anyway since we played the first couple of minutes.
Okay, I'm going to put the video full screen then. I'm going to switch microphones off.
In Invideo for today's show. What I'm going to do now is talk about how I created that advert and the different techniques used in Invideo. So sit back, grab your coffee and enjoy.
The Inspired by Invideo show.
50 episodes, that's incredible.
Special guest Abhilash Hande and Sanket.
It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time.
Join us, watch, learn, and have fun.
I started this project, the Inspired by Invideo advert, by creating a mind map where I put all my different ideas about what I wanted to have in the advert itself. So I've got my opening scene, the Inspired by Invideo show. I wanted an intro sound effect, I needed to put the date on, and I wanted to incorporate the Invideo fish. For my second scene, I wanted to celebrate the fact it was our 50th episode. So we've got a voiceover that says 50 episodes. That's incredible. And then we talk about our special guests, Abhilash Hande and Sanket. The next thing was I need to get over the different times that occur around the world when the program starts. So I have show times. And so it's Thursday afternoon at 4 in the UK, and then I'm going to show London as the location in the UK with a map pin and the word London and a picture of London. And then I'm going to do the same 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and this time I'm going to have a New York map pin and picture, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time, and again Los Angeles and a map pin and a picture. So that's my third scene, and my fourth and final scene tells people that they should join us, watch, learn and have fun. It's then going to have a picture of Steven with his name, me with my picture of me too with my name, and then my little favourite message, because I am an old fart: be there or be square. Be there or be square. Outro sound effect. And that's my mind map that I then used to move forward with the project. Having completed my mind map, I decided from there what I wanted to have as voiceovers. So from the mind map I extracted the Inspired by Invideo show, 50 episodes, that's incredible, special guests Abhilash Hande and Sanket. It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time and 8 in the morning Pacific Time. And finally, join us, watch, learn and have fun. So I took those and I used a package called Synthesis to create my different voiceovers. And you'll see as we move through here that I tried different voices before he ended up with what I want, who I want, saying what I want. I tried to give it a bit of an international flavour, so there's people from the UK, Americans, Italians and that other nations speaking. So I simply pasted my text into here, and then I hit the create button. And so if we listen here, this is our first
The
sentence.
Inspired by Invideo show.
I used Alicia for that, and then I used Dan R for the 15 50 episodes, that's incredible.
50 episodes, that's incredible.
And after that, I tried to sprinkle a little bit of foreign interference. No, interference is not the right word. Foreign elegance into it. So I used Rosalia to talk about our special guests.
Special guest Abhilash Hande and Sanket.
Not sure the pronunciation's that good, but you can at least see I'm trying to spread it around a bit. And then I needed a little laid back feel for my talk about times. And there's this great guy here called John M, deep, mellow and resonant. And as you'll discover, he really is deep.
It's
mellow.
Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time.
And then for my final sentence, I used Renee. And this is
Join
Renee.
us, watch, learn, and have fun.
So those are all my voiceovers. So I've got together my voiceovers. So I'm starting to build all the components prior to building my actual video. Next, I needed to choose my two sound effects style, one as the intro and one as the outro. Now, I wanted to create impact on the way in, and I've got a very nice cinematic sound pack from 604 Studio that I bought a couple of months back on recommendation from somebody who posted it in our FB group, our Facebook group. And I've got another pack from a company called Film Crux called Singularity, and part of that is tension, and I quite like the idea of having something that created tension and the exit. So I've looked up and down here, and as you can see there's quite a lot of them. And again, inside the cinematic sound pack there's action, cinematic and horror. And eventually I settled on epic drums. But I really didn't want 21 seconds. And I decided I would use that, but I would trim it in Invideo to just give me a few bangs on the drums. So get rid of the wee at the front and get rid of lots and lots of the others. And in a minute you'll see that it was cut considerably. So that's chosen my intro sound effect. Now I need my outro sound effect. And as I said, I was quite interested in creating tension. And there's heartbeats, waiting, stakeouts, murmurs, war parties, ticks, a whole version of different ways of ticking from a clock, exhaling and inhaling, breath intakes. But in fact, I settled on murmur light. And all I did on that one is just take the first the first three tension movements, and again I trim that inside Invideo. So having got all my voiceovers done and decided on my two tunes to go at the beginning and the end, I got them all into a single folder. And then what I did is I actually at long last fired up Invideo, and I then placed all of those different things into a single scene. Now the reason I placed them into a single scene, even though I'm going to end up with 4 different scenes, is that this would allow me to listen to them and make sure I got everything where I went. So I started with my epic drums, I did my inspired by Invideo bit, 50 special guests, show times, and join us, and then my exit tension music. And I put them, as I say, in a single scene so that I could listen to them. Now sadly there's a few problems on the music thing at the side of things at the moment, and I know the engineers have been working on it. And unfortunately, if you press the play scene, you will not hear all of the items you've placed on there if you've got more than one item. So I've done this to build it up, and what I've been doing is to check I've got it in the right place, is putting them up, building them up, exporting, listen to it, haven't got the alignment right, fiddle around till eventually I ended up with this arrangement here. And I've got that exported so that I could check it in full. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to open a new copy of Invideo, and I'm going to show you how I trimmed the epic drums and the murmur and how I added the voiceovers. Okay, here I am with a blank screen, and what I'm going to do is show you how I added my initial intro music effect. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete the existing one. So I highlight it and press delete. And then I'm going to go to music. I'm going to go to my collection, and using the upload, I'd added the epic drums. We'll play it quickly so as you can hear it. Now, I do not want that great big woo, I just want the banging of the drums. So I'm going to add that. Now, lesson here. You see this wonderful thing here that you move up and down? When you add a voiceover or music, that decides where it's going to get placed. So we want this at the front, so I'm just going to slide it to the front. But the thing to remember is this magic line here determines where your music or your voiceover is going to get added. So here we've got our drums noise, and what we're going to do is we're going to go into trim. Now I don't really want all that whoosh and stuff, so I'm going to trim this here, and I'm going to select 554 will do as a start, and I really don't want all of those different bangs there, so I'm going to drag this end and I'm going to come down to 852 will do. So now I can play that and hear what I'm going to get. And I'm pretty happy with that, but you could have took a segment anywhere you liked. So I'm going to say done, and that's going to be there. And if I hit the play scene, so I'm going to drag this out of it, and now I'm going to add a voiceover so you can see the voiceover. So I'm going to click add VO, and I'm going to upload it from my folder that you saw before. So we're going to go here, sound effects, and the first one is inspired by Invideo. So we can simply click open and move that along, because exactly as I said before, that determines where it comes, but it says it's first on the track. So we got the next one to go here. Yeah, tiny little gap. So I can add another, and the second one was 50 episodes, is incredible. So I'm just going to do those little bits just to show you how it works. Okay, and I'm pretty confident that if I play it, I'm afraid we won't get to hear all of it.
The Inspired by Invideo show.
And oh look, the last one hasn't come out. Anyway, doesn't matter. As I've explained to you, what you can do is export it and check it using the exported rendered video. Okay, and close the uploads. So the last thing I wanted to do was show you adding the, oh, where have I hidden it? The murmur light. So I'll show you the murmur light. This is the tension creator. And I'm using that on my outro. And all I'm doing is using those first 3 tension booms. So I'm going to move my cursor to where I want it to be. Well, it's not a cursor, I guess it's some sort of scroll bar, isn't it? And I'm going to add it there. And I want the first 3. So when I check my export, I'm going to make sure I've got enough scene length for it to play properly when the scene is exported. And again, like before, I can hit edit, trim, and in this particular instance I want to trim it to from the start and play just 3 of them. So I can take it to there. If I play it now, so I can now trim it there, and hey presto. Now obviously there should have been more of the voiceovers in between, but you can at least see what it took to construct it. And in a moment we'll go back and take it to the next level. Okay, so my next task is to create the 4 scenes, and you can see here that I've got 4 scenes. So what I've done is create a scene, add a scene, add a scene, and add a scene, and the first scene covers over epic drums and inspired by Invideo. The second scene, 50 episodes and special guests. The third goes over showtime, and the 4th scene, join us and our tension sound, which is the murmur light wave. The last thing to do, having created them all, is to get rid of the logo, and do that simply by deleting it. And then we also want to change the background. So I've unlocked it, clicked on edit, and I'm going to change the background color to white. Okay, so I would do that through the entire run. One more important thing is, when you add a scene, you end up with a default scene, a default transition here. Yeah, you set your default transition. Let's put impact on there. You'll see it steals from your timing. So what you need to do is make sure that you remove all the transitions so that they finish and start at the correct place. And that's it for adding the scenes. Now I'm going to talk you through the 4 scenes and the actions that we've got on there. So here we have the fish, and in the scene the fish swims on from the left, stays static and swims out to the right. The inspired by Invideo show title, that vibrates to match the beating drums, and the 15th of October just slides on and off. And we'll show you how this animation is achieved. So and we have drama from down, and that causes it to vibrate. The scene is 5 seconds long, and it comes in and comes in for 2 seconds, stays static for 1 second, and then flows out for 2 seconds. So if we look at the out, and the out slide down to big. So when we play the scene there, and so the epic drums lasts for 2.5 seconds, and the inspired by just over 2.5 seconds, and the inspired by Invideo voiceover fills the rest of the 5 seconds. Now I'm going to play the scene, but as I said to you earlier, you don't always hear all of the sounds. So there you saw the fish swim in, fish swim out, the inspired by Invideo vibrate, then fall off, and then 15th of October slid in and slid out. So that's that scene. If we go to the second scene, you'll see we have an explosion of purple smoke, powder, I'm not sure which it is, but we'll have a look in a moment. And we also have special guests, Abhilash Hande. I've called him Customer Happiness because I'm not totally sure what his real title is, but that's very much what he tries to achieve. And Sanket, and he's the boss. He is the head of Invideo. And down here we've got 50 episodes and special guests, voiceovers. Now, what I will do, come back and show you how I created the purple in there, but it's actually from an effects, and you can see it there. It's a powder explosion, and if we press the little arrow, we'll see that there's quite a lot of powder explosions, but I quite liked the purple one. Okay, so that is scene 2. If we go to scene 3, and you will see, now this is halfway through, so you see what happens halfway through. You can see it does London, New York, and then does Los Angeles. And as you move across, you've got 3 pictures. They're simply on top of each other, and they're added, not replaced. And I'll play the scene, and you'll see that these build up.
It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time.
So you saw there. As I said, at the end of this, I'll come and show you how to add the powder explosion, and I'll come and show you how to do one of these. So our final scene, and let's slide along to our final scene. There's my slider. That's the longest scene of all, and we have join us, watch, learn and have fun. And we have a wave, a voiceover that does that, and you saw me putting voiceovers on earlier. And then we have my tension builder at the end. So if I play the scene, there are no clever tricks here other than one little piece, which if we go to the end, slides on. I'm a great believer that too much fancy stuff actually stops people from watching your video. So we'll play it for you.
Join us, watch, learn and have fun.
And then you get my little be there or be square. You can't hear the murmur light because that's one of those objects that when you play doesn't hear. But what I will be doing shortly is playing the whole video through, and you'll be able to hear all of the sounds. Okay, I said I would show you how to add the powder explosion and how to create the map pin and the name. You'll notice when you see the 3 map pins that I've actually left justified them because I think they look better than they do with 3 of them in a row and centered text. So I'm starting with a standard scene, except I've done 2 modifications to it. I've changed the text to the colour of the darker blue on the fish. I just want to make things feel interlinked, if you like. And I've got rid of the logo, but I'm going to answer probably one of the most asked questions in the group, which is how do you change the background colour? And it's really dead simple, but you need to unlock the background first. So if you unlock, go to edit, hit colours, select your colour. I'm going for the lovely preset white. I'm going to go back to layers, and I'm going to relock the background so that no accidents can happen with the background color. So that is how it's done. And what I'm going to do now is show you how you add the powder effect. So I'm going to go over to effects and just run through. You've got confettis, fireworks, grunges, hearts, light leaks, powder explosions, smoke and snow. And we're going to do there is, I really like this one, so I'm going to add that. And that is as simple as it is. The only thing you really need to remember is to go to layers, yeah, and put your text over the top by dragging it to the front. Now here I went to a default blue so that when we went white you could see it, but now I've got my effect. I'm going to go to there and I'm going to go to edit, I'm going to go to colors, and I'm actually going to change the text back to white so it stands out. And then I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go to drop shadow and I'm going to hit drop shadow. I could choose the color, but I'm very happy with the black. And you'll notice if you turn the drop shadow on and off, it just helps your text pop off the screen. Okay, I've just quickly deleted the things that we put on before to leave me a scene with just a white background and nothing else on it. So you can see we've got a white background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that map pointer name. Now I called them stickers in the last little section of video, but it's not really a sticker, it's in fact a text effect. So if we click to text, we can go there and you can see you've got headings, subheadings and body text. You've got text styles. I'll just quickly show you those. Loads of them. We've got classics, moderns, Astons. Now they're called lower thirds by most people, but the name Astons came about because they were invented by Aston TV, and Aston TV were based in Birmingham, where I live. Then we've got social media credits. There's loads of those, you know, whatever social media thing you want, there's loads and loads of them there. And we're just going to pop back from there, and then there's location boxes, and then there's some free sort of bubbles, and underneath the bubbles there's some other quite nice effects like spinning, etc. But we want location boxes, and if we click on location boxes we'll see that there are in fact 10 different designs. I'm simply going to go with this one. You see you can get an idea of the effect. Add it. I'm just for the purposes of this I'm only going to do the one. I'm going to stick it in the middle of the screen and I'm going to edit the name, and let's call this London. Click on there, and there. It's as easy and as simple as that to create that edited there. I did a row of 3, and when you pull them one each other to left, you will get a lineup bar to show you where they're going. For those who haven't noticed it, you can find the center of anything here simply by dragging to there and getting the 2 thick lines. I call them thick lines because the other lines are thinner and dotted. And if we play now, you'll see that that's automated, and that is how you do the map points.
The Inspired by Invideo show.
50 episodes, that's incredible.
Special guest Abhilash Hande and Sanket.
It's Thursday at 4 in the afternoon in the UK, 11 in the morning Eastern Time, and 8 in the morning Pacific Time.
Join us, watch, learn, and have fun.
Okay.
Was that the end?
There was a flag and it said, see you next week, but that's fine by me. I should think people are bored to death now.
Wow, what a 50th show.
Sorry?
No. We've been going for an hour and 25 minutes. This is a world record.
Longer than
Definitely a world record.
Longer than a blabbing
I
for
think the
Britain.
only thing, yeah.
Oh, somebody says this is incredibly helpful information. Okie doke. Well,
okay, getting this slight problem. Thank everybody for watching.
Please enjoy the replay if you didn't watch live. And I'll make the video itself available in a day or so. But watch the video first on here. Now, Stephen's going to play us out.
I'm going to play us out with my most viewed in video creation. This is a count out clock. Thank you for watching us all. We'll see you all again next week, 12 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Just one thing. Can you tell people how they can make themselves name-wise visible to us?
Yeah, I'll put a link in. I'll put a link in afterwards so that everybody who watches our next show can actually be seen on screen with their name and their picture. From John and I, this has been an excellent way to celebrate it, inspired by Invideo. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again soon. Goodbye for now. This was made by Invideo. We're back.
We did say goodbye, but both of us had our mics muted.
No, not true. But thanks anyway. Take care. See you again soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.